Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming it looks like even more PlayStation exclusives are coming to PC. Co-op shooter Redfall had a major leak, Nvidia are reviving a popular GPU, and much more. Several PlayStation exclusives might be heading to PC soon. A researcher discovered several game entries in the Steam database like God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, and Returnal. Sony recently announced PlayStation exclusives would make their way to PC, but they've been very cagey about which titles are getting ported. So far, we've gotten Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn. Sony also announced the Uncharted franchise is also coming to PC last week during their PlayStation Showcase. Now, it is important to note that these database listings don't include release dates or technical info. It's just a list of titles being added to Steam. The listings are also associated with Nvidia's GeForce Now streaming service. That service runs on Windows machines to stream gameplay to users. It seems highly unlikely that Sony would go through all of this effort just to launch their exclusives on a game streaming service. This is why people are assuming that it means these games are launching as proper PC titles. Now, aside from the titles that I already mentioned, there's also some other high-profile games on the list. Ghost of Tsushima, Ratchet & Clank, and Gran Turismo 7 are also on it. These titles in particular are obviously huge names for Sony. Porting them to PC shows just how deep their commitment to cross-platform releases really goes. That being said, the absence of Bloodborne is a disappointment. The melee brawler from Dark Souls devs From Software was arguably one of PlayStation 4's best games, and it's been in a technical purgatory since the PlayStation 5 version doesn't offer any significant improvements. The devs haven't unlocked the frame rate, and the maximum resolution is still mediocre compared to the native PlayStation 5 titles. If any PlayStation exclusive title needed a next-gen upgrade or PC port, Bloodborne was it. To add fuel to the fire, the Demon's Souls remake is also on the list. Almost all of From Software's games are on PC too. Overall, it's tough to say what any of this actually means. Sony could drop a ton of exclusives on PC in one big go, or they could trickle them out over the next couple of years. It's also unclear what other titles might be added to their cross-platform roster. Hopefully, Sony will provide an official roadmap or timeline for these ports. The co-op open-world shooter Redfall apparently had a playtest recently, and screenshots from it are leaking online. They show a mix of first-person and third-person combat, character info, weapons, and more. In a lot of ways, the game looks like a combination of Dishonored and Borderlands. Officially, all we've seen is a cinematic trailer showing the playable characters having supernatural abilities and a massive arsenal of guns to choose from. The game has a vampire theme, and the screenshots show both day and night environments. As expected, Epic Games have appealed the ruling in their lawsuit against Apple over the ban of Fortnite. Epic won the part of the ruling with the judge deciding that Apple needs to let developers link external payment methods in their apps. However, the judge pretty much slapped down the rest of Epic's arguments. Epic are appealing the entire ruling, meaning their small victory with the external links thing wasn't to their satisfaction either. So far, they've only filed their notice of appeal and haven't filed the full appeal. This is also only for the US court case. Epic sued Apple in the UK and Australia as well, and those cases are expected to go to trial. In other Fortnite news, the Battle Royale's Chapter 2 Season 8 update is live. It's called Cube and adds alien cubes strewn across the island. These cubes are the host of portals that teleport players to a place called the Sideways with hostile aliens and hazardous air. The cubes are also spreading the sideways to specific points of interest. It sounds like the return of Trials of Osiris is actually going quite well for Destiny 2. This is a high-level competitive event that requires players to win a certain number of matches without losing. Past Trials have more or less floundered for various reasons like cheating, overpowered weapons, broken mechanics, and more. This time around, Bungie have implemented a more robust anti-cheat that can potentially auto-ban hackers. The rewards for doing well in a trial run are also way more generous than they have been in the past. Plus, players can solo queue instead of having to scrounge together a team of friends. It sounds like this solo queue option is also helping to prevent every match from feeling like one-sided, since there's more randomness in player skill and coordination. This is a pretty significant improvement from Bungie, considering on multiple occasions they had to disable Trials weekends in the middle of the weekend simply because players found some insane bug or cheaters were ruining the experience. The Alan Wake remaster is ditching the original game's overbearing product placement. Alan Wake was notorious for including some pretty gratuitous ads for Verizon and Energizer. Throughout the game, you spend a lot of time picking up batteries to recharge your flashlight, and they're all branded with Energizer's packaging. There were also several Verizon billboards, TV ads, and even Alan's cell phone featured Verizon's branding. The ads weren't necessarily a massive distraction, but they still broke the immersion from time to time. The remaster plans to replace the ads with fictional branding set in the game's universe. Early reviews for Deathloop are painting it as yet another slam dunk from the developer Arcane Studios. They've made a name for themselves over the years producing immersive sim RPGs with intense combat like Dishonored and Prey. Deathloop combines elements from their previous work with a new twist. Your playthrough of the game essentially repeats the same day over and over. It's an interesting mechanic, and despite initially sounding like an overly repetitive experience, many reviewers highlight it as a well-executed and enjoyable system. Some reviewers on PC are complaining about performance issues. Digital Foundry are advising players to avoid ultra settings for the time being. Other review sites have performance guides with recommended settings that seem to run quite well. Deathloop launches tomorrow for all platforms. Rainbow Six Siege just got an update that fixes a massive exploit. Players reported cheaters being able to join their squad without an invite. Cheaters have been able to use this exploit to join ranked matches with fresh accounts that didn't meet the level requirements to enter them. This was a huge deal because the level requirement is what kept cheaters from just creating a new account and jumping back into ranked after getting banned. The exploit started off small but was widespread enough that all PC players were being attacked. Hopefully this update keeps the exploit fixed for good. The LittleBigPlanet games have been offline for months thanks to server exploits that let hackers target players with malicious text chat and behavior. It's been a huge problem considering the games are primarily intended for children and are a staple of the PlayStation brand. The developers released an update for LittleBigPlanet 3 that restores the game's online services. Unfortunately, they've also permanently disabled online servers for all previous LittleBigPlanet games on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. A massive component of the LittleBigPlanet games is their community levels. The server shutdown takes thousands upon thousands of community levels with them. Before we get to our final story today, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Today in Gaming exists because I love gaming news, and hopefully you guys too. If you do, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so you can stay informed about all the upcoming and cool stuff that's going on with games. Nvidia are probably bringing back the RTX 2060 to meet current GPU availability demands. The last-gen GPU was one of the more popular options during its initial lifespan. Despite being the cheapest and lowest-tier 2000 series GPU, it was certainly an upgrade from most 1000 series GPUs. Insider info provided to GPU news sites Video Cards indicates that Nvidia are working on a revised model of the 2060 that offers double the VRAM for a total of 12 gigabytes. Performance-wise, that puts it in the ballpark of the lower-end 3000 series GPUs. The refreshed 2060 could launch this holiday season, but don't get your hopes up for a budget-friendly GPU. The original card sold for $340, considering it currently retails for double that on the used market. Nvidia will probably charge at least the original card's MSRP, if not more. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.